Hello Learning Birds, this is Mr. Buffington, and today our lesson is looking at Microsoft Excel, which is the spreadsheet program inside of Microsoft Office, and we are going to do text to columns in this lesson. Text to columns is a great tool inside the Data tab that splits the words inside of one column into multiple columns. The one very common example of or use of this would be changing a column of name that includes a first name and a last name into two separate columns, one with your first name, one with the last name. One caution about this is that if you do just split, take this column and we split it into two columns, what's going to happen is the first names are going to appear in column A and the last names are going to appear in column B. And so it'll delete all the information from column B. So be aware of that, and in our case, we have just two pieces of information. So I'm going to insert a new column here so that I have space for all of that data. From column A, when it's split, it'll go into A and B, and I'm not going to lose any information. All right. So that's an important thing to note. Now let's go ahead and actually do our split. We're going to first highlight the column that we're going to actually use. And inside the Data tab, we're going to click on Text to Column. Our first screen, we have the option of selecting a fixed width. We don't really need to do that, so we're just going to skip on there and go to actually where the next slide is going to let us select what parameters make this split. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can split things up according to having a semicolon in there, or a comma, or a space, or some other thing that we specify. In this case, there's a space between the first and last names, so I'm just going to say if there's a space in there, I want you to make it into a new column. And that's what we're going to do. When we click Next, it gives us some advanced settings, but basically if you leave it at General and click Finish, you'll be able to do the split. Now you notice that we do have a warning here. It's saying, hold on, you're going to take all the information from here and you are going to delete everything in this column B with that second part of that information. And we're going to say yes, we're going to do that. So again, a caution, if you have some important information in column B or C or D, you want to make sure to keep that in a safe place. Now we have a column for last name and a column for first name. There we go. Last name. And we have successfully split the information in column A into two different columns. Now we can actually sort by last name in alphabetical order there. Put family members like Bilbo and Frodo together. We can do things like that. All right, by sorting, and we could sort back by first name if we wanted to. And that's exactly how you do it. So again, we're inside the Data tab, click on Text to Column, and you'll be able to split the text inside of one column into multiple columns. One more note, I see this down here, hole in the ground. If you have something like this, hole in the ground, and you split that, it has a space in between every single word, and so it will go from being one column into being four separate columns. Again, deleting all the information in the columns next to it. So sometimes you may have to create more columns than just one, and sometimes just to be extra safe, you might want to copy that column into a new spreadsheet so that no matter how many columns it does take up, you're definitely not deleting important information. So just a couple of tips for that. Hope that was helpful for you, Learning Birds. Have a wonderful day.